We're just rolling on with the show, and I have a repeat guest and one of my favorite guests, Jay Spicer with the Martin County Fair. And there's just so much going on with the new Agriplex that's being planned and hopefully built soon. So Jay wanted to come in and talk about that and give us some updates you know, we need money for this too. So we're going to talk about that a little bit as well. So Jay, how are you today?
Hey, I'm doing fair.
You're doing doing fair in our fair city of
Yes,
Stewart.
indeed. Yes, indeed. It's good to be back. Yeah, who doesn't love a fair?
Yeah, well, tell us what's the latest with the fair?
Well, it's seems to be dragging on, and my apologies to people out there that have gone, the crying wolf, it's happening, blah blah blah. Like,
COVID.
yes, believe me, I've heard it all. I've lived the nightmare.
Yes.
I don't know how anybody builds anything in this county, frankly, with all the craziness
Obstacles
it
that
takes.
comes up with it.
It's insane. But no matter what the insanity is, it's still incumbent upon us to pay for what we want to build.
Yes.
And the fair being as small as it is here, we make enough money to sustain our budget year round. We're a sustainable nonprofit. We don't have fundraisers. We don't send out donation cards every Christmas or hold golf outings or whiskey tastings. We don't do that. We're actually probably the only nonprofit out of the 400 in Martin County that give our revenue income streams back to other nonprofits.
That's incredible.
We adopt classes and help teachers. We fund kids' sports programs.
4-H.
People need our trams or our railings or the 4-H club, or we have 50 nonprofits that use our facility on a year-round basis. Most of them pay little to nothing.
Right.
We donate time or just charge them actual expense of what it costs to be there. And
the fair is kind of the heart of the community, too. I mean, that's something, especially when it happens. It's once a year. You have 1 week, and I've had some of the 4-Hers in before. They work all year for that 1 week to show whatever they do, whatever it's the animal, what have you. So the fairgrounds is, to me, extremely important to the community. And right now, you're on this little postage stamp of about 12 acres. Very small. Very small. I'm impressed you can even host a fair there, and you've been as successful as you have been.
Fitting everything in there, yes.
And it's tough. And so now you have the Agriplex planned, which will be the fairgrounds. It's out by Indiantown. Tell us a little bit about that right now. If you can put up, it's a lot to see, but I'm going to let Jay kind of describe the new Agriplex complex.
Sure. So just for a quick comparison, just in the last 12 days, the waste management was staging all of those recycle bins that you all got. 44,000 of them came through our property. No charge to waste management. It's just a partnership we have. We have a COVID testing site out there right now. The fire department was doing hazmat training in our building, no charge. We have the Railroad Club doing their thing. Spam Robotics has moved in with us because the schools basically kicked them out. We're getting deluged with PTAs and groups like that also cannot use school space right now. There's an auto auction. We have the high schools moving in to build their floats for their homecoming parades in our arena. It is madness. And because the site is so small, again, it is. How do you juggle them? How do you give them enough space so they're not stepping on each other?
Right.
So we need a bigger place.
We do.
Plus the parking there is no parking lot on our property. I don't know if people realize that.
There's not. No.
There's no assigned parking. We have to park at the airport, which is a whole nother nightmare working with the county on parking and rules and
it's getting people across Dixie and
right. So the county did provide 107 acres for us, which at the beginning they were like, well, we're not going to give you this whole 100 acres of property for a 9-day fair. What else do you have? So I said, well, here's what else we have. I went through the world and asked them, what do we need in Martin County? What don't we have? Well, we don't have a large building. There's no expo center. There's nowhere to have graduation. There's nowhere to have emergency shelters without throwing them in schools.
Right.
Pet-friendly shelters and other services like that. We have an archery club that comes in and out of our place every week to practice, 4-H club. And they have to bring it all in, set it up, do their thing, pack it all back up on trailers and take it home and store it somewhere. I'm like, well, why don't we just have an archery center? It doesn't take up a whole lot of space. And actually, it turns out it's the only organized archery center of this type south of Gainesville.
Incredible.
Like all of South Florida? Seriously? How's
right
that
here
possible?
In Stewart, right?
There's over 7,000 registered archers in the state of Florida and nowhere to go.
That's incredible.
BMX, motocross, the only legal riding from the north end of Lake Okeechobee to Key West. They need places to ride.
That's right.
Farming. It's all about education. It comes down to youth development, giving kids a chance to put down those phones, come get their hands dirty.
There's so much out there, and this is for the Agriplex. I mean, you just spoke about it, but a solar farm I see is planned.
Well, so part of that is with our new partnership with IRSC and the new charter school that's going to be moving on the property.
Very exciting.
They want to have solar installation training and those kind of trades in that trade school, which has great synergy with what we're doing because we want to have a trade school. And you hear trade schools all the time,
right.
But they're all diesel mechanics, carpentry, plumbing, all the trades that people see every day.
Right.
Well, that's wonderful. Kids need that. But nobody is addressing agricultural community. Like you go on the Farm Bureau and you looked at Publix is hiring meat cutters. Where do you learn to be a meat cutter?
Right.
Evidently, I called Publix and they said, well, it's on the job.
On the job training.
So I said, so you have to have your people stop what they're doing to teach some new guy that may or may not understand what you're doing. You just hired him and now you got to teach him. Wouldn't you rather have somebody who knows at least the basic foundations, has a certificate in meat cutting program that we put together for you? Absolutely. Beekeepers, crop data management, drone mapping, GPS guided tractor programming.
And agriculture is the largest industry in Florida.
It is.
People don't realize that, but it is.
And there is a gap between migrant worker level jobs and the college guys. Mm-hmm. My funnest example is my daughter's boyfriend, college guy. He's the night shift supervisor at a dairy up in North Florida. But the guys who work with the animals and work the machinery every night, not college guys. They've been trained on how to work with animals because that's a whole nother skill set right there.
Yes, absolutely.
And the machinery and unclogging the machines and all the buttons and how it all works. It's not just hook a cow to the machine and milk comes out.
Right.
But where did they learn how to do that job?
On the job
why
training,
can't we teach guys, especially underprivileged, underserved communities where they can't afford a trade school? So what are they supposed to do? So we can give them that training for free, if not subsidized by the farm that's going to hire them.
Right.
Like they can pay us a stipend to make sure that training happens, and then they get a qualified employee. So that's kind of our model of schooling and education for there.
So as you can see, folks, this Agriplex is so much more than just the fairgrounds. And they're going to be doing so much more than just holding the fair, which you do a lot of things anyways with the current fairgrounds, as you were talking about. But you're going to have that and expand on it greatly.
Oh, absolutely.
Another thing I see is an amphitheater. Tell us about that.
So the amphitheater is in a partnership with the Anheuser-Busch family, a company called Ocean Field, which is a venture. They have a use of amphitheaters in Key West, Fort Lauderdale, Vero, Jacksonville, and they will build this one and maintain this one and program this one as another venue so that they can grab someone like Garth Brooks and route him right up the coast of Florida.
How cool would that be?
Bing, 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 bing. It makes it easier to book those kind of acts rather than trying to attract somebody. We have a nice act for the fair this year, by the way, but I can't tell you.
Oh, you can't. I was going to say, we might hear it first on the Casey Ingram Show, but geez, Jay. We're going to have to wait.
We could go there, but you'll have to wait for that announcement.
Okay. Well, please let us know.
But that's their deal. So there could be as many as 40 concerts a year. And opportunities for
how exciting is that, folks?
Venue.
A big concert venue right here in Martin County. What would be the capacity, do you think?
Oh, well, it's 2,500 covered seats.
Wow.
And then the way we've designed it, and the park, as you can see if you're looking at your screen, is a circle like Disney World.
Yes.
So just like in Disney World, you come into the main castle, and from there you go on a circle around all the different program areas. Ours is kind of the same exact feel, only I don't have 400 acres of rides. I have 100 acres of rides.
Right.
But the amphitheater is designed that when the fair's not here, it opens up into what would be the midway. So open grass, flat grass. And that grass can be used for hot air balloon shows, Seminole Indian War reenactments, and RV shows, or whatever you want to use it for, or 10,000 people watching a concert of somebody of name that people would draw to.
Yes. So this is very exciting, folks. As you can tell, this Agriplex has huge plans. And Eric Miller, this is what we're getting to. Very important question. Eric Miller says, how much will it cost? How much of it do you have? And when will you start building it? Yes.
So that is the $50 million question,
sure
isn't it? Well, the amphitheater is being paid for. Our farm, which is our educational component of agriculture, where we have a group coming in that has $5 million worth of grant money to build, maintain, run school field trips, show the education, teach kids where food comes from. We'll have classes and fitness and nutrition classes and everything you want to know. That milk doesn't come from Publix. That there's no ham in hamburger. Very simple things. That peanuts grow in dirt, not on a tree, unless it's a certain kind of nut. But all that education will be there, and the expo center itself could be a $12 million building or it could be a $30 million building, depending on how fancy it wants to be, and that was all money driven. For us to just do it, $10 million builds a huge 80,000 square foot building that can be used for traveling tournaments for volleyball, basketball, wrestling, things working with the Treasure Coast Sports Commission. Like they don't all need to go to Orlando and Daytona. Bring them to Martin County.
Absolutely. Just think what that would do.
If you've been to Orlando with your kid and your team, you know what it's like. If you're out there in that sports center, don't leave. Because you may miss your next game getting back.
That's right.
It's jammed up.
That's right. And you got to love this. I mean, it would bring so much business to our restaurants and to our hotels and motels in the area as well. So, huge benefit all around.
But currently, we need about $3 million for what I'll call the non-sexy part of our project.
Okay.
Basic infrastructure. The county's putting in $2.5 million of sewer pipes, paving the main entrance, widening the road at the entrances for us. We love that. And then we'll take it from there.
Okay.
I've got $378,000 worth of site preparation donated.
Oh, wow.
The amphitheater's bringing $6 million worth of work. The school's got $40 million worth of work. So, I mean, we're over $55 million of construction ready to go on that dirt right now. But I don't have enough in my pocket to get the lease so that the rest of them can do what they need to do.
So you need that $3 million.
Well, our attorneys talked to their attorneys, and they kind of came off that number where maybe we don't need the whole thing, but we need to see something. Okay. We need to see the fair. We're not just going to let them go out there, and there won't be anything there for 6 years.
So, folks,
and I get that.
This is super important. This is, there's a lot of great things that are happening out here with the fairgrounds, and Jay has just talked about many of them. It's so important that as a community, he mentioned at the beginning of the show, 400 nonprofits you have to compete with for donations.
Yeah, we don't have kids with cancer, battered wives, abused puppies, disabled vets.
And you're not used to going out and fundraising. You've been the one that's
not our thing.
Nope, it's not your thing.
And we tried to hire people, and it didn't work out.
Didn't work
out.
It's
very frustrating.
So, community sponsors, there's a lot of businesses here. Certainly, we're reaching out to you today through the radio. Please share this show. Please reach out to the fair, to Jay Spicer, Martin County Fair. Anything helps. I don't care if it's $5 or maybe a business can give $100,000, $5,000, $10,000, whatever it is.
And it's over 5 years.
Over 5 years.
So someone could make a personal pledge for the tax accountant that I'll give you $10,000 over the next 5 years for a total of $50,000.
Okay.
And I don't even need the cash in hand yet. I just need a letter of commitment so I can show the county that between this folder, I've got $1.6 million of support. And it'll be spent over the next 5 years as we've given you the 5-year plan. Because we gave them the 5-year plan. They said, this is great. Fund it up front.
Fund it.
And I said, well, if I had the money up front, I wouldn't need a 5-year plan.
Right. That's absolutely right.
So, I don't know. But we definitely need some financial support. Basically for non-sexy. Right. Water pipes, sewer pipes, sidewalks, ADA compliancy. That kind of stuff.
Get it started. Then you have the charter school that's coming in, the amphitheater. Alicia Parental says, I've heard Hard Rock has a 100-mile blackout on other venues, so they have exclusivity with the talent they book. But that would just be the talent they book.
You can book.
Right. You can book other talent. Yep. So.
And again, I'm not booking it. We have an outside group that will manage.
That's coming in with the amphitheater to do all that. And like you said, they're going up and down the coast in Florida. So it's very, very exciting.
They can offer them a deal. They can't refuse.
There you go. You know what? In Martin County, you draw from Palm Beach County, you draw from St. Lucie County, Okeechobee, for people to come and watch this concert.
Well, that's the key, and that's why even though Indian Town sounds like it's another zip code country, not even in Martin County, it is closer to the areas we can get to. For example, it's only 15 minutes from any highway, whether it's in Palm Beach or Martin County. You're closer to Okeechobee people that aren't going to come all the way into town for an event. Loxahatchee is right down the street. North Palm Beach, Juneau, Jupiter. It is your 2 traffic lights off the highway.
All right there.
Out there. And it's that quick. In fact, from the old fairgrounds, I tell people that complain that it's too far, I said, we'll leave here together at the old fairgrounds, and I'll be over to Indiantown before you get to Bed Bath & Beyond in Jensen Beach. And I'll be right 8 out of 10 times.
That's absolutely
Unless you hit every green light.
Tell us exactly where the location is for listeners that don't know where the new fairgrounds is.
Sure. If you head out Indian Street and down Martin Highway there, over the turnpike to Citrus Boulevard, turn left. You're 12 minutes from that intersection.
12 minutes from
On
Citrus and
Boulevard,
Martin
just
Highway.
kind of next to the Indiantown Airport, Timer Powers Park, just kind of right in that little general area. You won't be able to miss it because it'd be ginormous.
And you have signs out there already, so.
We do have signs there, and we're also actually trying to get an extra 300 more acres from the South Florida Water Management District to add more activities, such as expanding the equestrian from just our arenas to cross-country jumps, obstacle courses, mounted archery, 3D archery, hiking trails, cross-country trails for the high schools so they don't have to run up and down Canner Highway anymore.
Jeez,
The
isn't it
teachers
wonderful?
there are very excited to have that opportunity.
You
believe
bet.
me. We've
You
talked
bet.
with them about it. They're all in. Someone has to pay for it.
Safety.
But we made a presentation to the district leadership and said, look, you're not in the recreation business. We are. We can relieve you of the burden of what to put out there, how to maintain it, how to staff it, how to pay for it, and keep it sustainable. Well, again, all of our crops and growth management with peanuts, potatoes, strawberries, tomatoes, and FFA kids have real crop management experience.
Right.
All that food can be gleaned for the food banks, and it just becomes this wonderful cycle of community. And that's,
Yes.
and
That's
community gardens, and we have professional farmers that will help you. When that's not growing right, just ask the guy. He'll tell you what you're doing wrong.
And that's why you're calling it an agriplex.
It is. The fair is just an event.
It's one event in the
It's
year.
a great event.
It is.
But it's just 9 days a year.
That's right. The
It's
rest of it.
everything else we can do that we're doing here, only better.
Very unique
bigger.
here for Martin County. It is. It's bigger, it's better, and it brings in so many different aspects of the community. That's what I love about it. I mean, you've mentioned so many things on the show today. Everybody's going to have a reason to go out to the Agriplex at one point or another.
They are. It's an agritourism magnet. That's a buzzword. But for those who are concerned that, oh my God, they build this huge thing, the beauty of it is it's over there,
Right.
out near Indiantown way. They're not coming into downtown Stewart clogging up the roadways.
Yes, absolutely.
They'll come over and eat dinner down here and stuff, but you're not going to have thousands of people piled into the roadways
That's
because
right.
of something we're doing.
So Eric Miller is out in Indiantown. You all know him from Talk About Martin, but he said, "Hey, please point the speakers with the concerts towards Palm City, not Indiantown."
Yes, it actually faces 40,000 of open farmland right now.
Oh wow, you guys could really rock out there. I mean,
Yes,
how fun!
Nobody would ever hear it.
Oh gosh. So what is your biggest challenge right now with raising money? What's the feedback you're getting? This is so exciting.
Okay, so one is we don't have a lease on the property. So it's hard to convince someone of means to give me a $250,000 commitment if I can't make a commitment to him that we have property to spend his money on.
But you can't get that lease until you raise the funds.
Right, so there's this vicious catch-22
That's right.
happening.
That's right.
There are tools that the county says we should be able to use. It should be no problem. Like, it is a problem.
Right.
We were able to squeeze by a grant to the state. I asked them for something in writing that names their commitment for the $2.5 million of infrastructure, and they told me that, well, there isn't anything in writing. It was all just commission talk, and they provided me minutes of where they approved that we should move forward with this project, but there's no funding behind it. There's no. So how can I make that commitment to you and vice versa?
So really, right now, and we said it before, but if people can just pledge, commit to it. They don't have to put the money
No.
in your hand right now, but pledge it, commit that it will come when you need it.
Yeah.
So when you have that $1 million or whatever it is, that first nest egg that you need, that's when you're going to come knocking on the door and say, okay, we have $1 million worth of pledges. Let's bring them in.
All of our commitment letters will go in a folder. Any cash that has been donated already, we've already set up a separate account in a separate bank. So it's completely separate it will never be commingled with fair money, association money. So if it all falls down, you'll get your money back. We're not going to keep your money.
Now, I remember a couple
So
years
we've heard
ago,
that.
Toby Overdorf tried to get a grant through the state as well, didn't he, through
Yep. But
Do you
that
like-
was the year that
COVID hit?
everything was vetoed out.
Right.
Scratch.
Right.
We did get $250,000 last year.
Okay.
We've asked for $600,000 this year.
Okay.
Kind of baby stepping up.
Right.
But that's state support,
Right.
and it's like pulling teeth.
Of course.
And the back end is almost worse than the front end. You have to the reporting and timelines that you got to spend it on, and this, that, and the other. And I'm concerned that we get the money in, and I have to spend it by this date, but we still don't have anything moving with the county yet. So now there's a big standstill.
It is.
I'm not a construction expert. It's not what I do. So if anybody's a construction guy out there wants to be a project planner, let me know.
Volunteers welcome.
Yes.
Completely. Eric Miller, great question. Who profits from the property the fair is still on once you move out to Indiantown?
Great question. The property that we're on now is county-owned property. We've leased it since 1959. It will revert back to the county. In fact, another issue we had with the arrangement was when we signed the new lease on the new property, we have to immediately evacuate the old property. And I said, well, if I can't build anything until I have the lease, where are we supposed to evacuate to?
Right.
So 2 years ago, we had our farewell performance, for those who remember that.
I do remember.
Because everything seemed like this is the time. We packed everything we own on tractor trailers, courtesy of Armelini. We had rented new office space. The phones were being transferred, and the county said, hang on now, Scooter. Where are you going? Do you have any money? But that's still, and same thing, our railroad club that lives with us, they've been there for years. They have this elaborate train set up, and if we all have to leave together, where are they going to go?
Right.
They need time to build their building.
Right.
I need time to build something to move into.
That seems like common sense, Jay. You got to have a transition period.
So we kind of worked out this rustic fair concept where, we can put a trailer out there, but then there's code about the trailer. You can't have the trailer there longer than this, that, and the other. It's like, I give up. I give up. So the easiest solution is to raise the money and build it and get it off the ground. Once it's off the ground, it's sustainable.
So, folks, again, if you can pledge any amount of money towards the fairgrounds, Jay needs your help. He needs all the community. This is one thing Martin County does. We come together as a community, and we support each other. And the Martin County Fair, I challenge anybody who has not been there. We all go there. We enjoy it. It's such a fun fair.
501c3, tax deductible.
There you go. And it's even tax deductible. And
I don't want to grovel, but I will.
Absolutely, and it's worth groveling for. The fair is wonderful. And Jay, you have a fundraiser coming up. It is a must-attend holiday tradition for the whole family, the Carnival of Lights. I don't know if we can get that on.
So
Iggy.
I'm not calling it a fundraiser because that's not what we do.
It
is a community event because when I came and took the fair over almost 9 years ago and lived here almost 16 years, there is no holiday exhibits. You have to go to Delray Beach, West Palm, Santa's Village, and Miami. There's some little twinkly things here and there, but there's nothing big like where I came from.
Right.
Like the Christmas light.
Right.
So I said, we need to claim it before somebody else does. I don't want tradition to have it. I don't want Civic Center to have it. We need to just start it. It's a community event. We've rented over $30,000 worth of lights ourselves.
Awesome.
We have already more than 35 nonprofits bringing exhibits and lights to bring awareness to their groups, to fill in a bunch of that stuff. And crafters, food, Santa's Workshop with lots of free activities, and the Carnival of Lights you need a carnival. So there'll be a handful of rides, mostly for youth and things like that. There's carousel, Ferris wheel for some fun. But it's just a warm fuzzy, runs the day after Thanksgiving till the week before Christmas, so you still have time to do shopping. We're not going to blow up your Thanksgiving Day. Thursday through Sunday, 4 weekends in a row. Come on out. It's only $5. I just need to make enough to pay for the electric and that light rental.
But you have sponsorships, though, because Casey Ingram Show will be a sponsor. I haven't signed up yet, but I will. You have different levels of sponsorship for that.
We do.
Do you know what those are off the top of your head?
Oh, yeah. Well, there's the Rudolph level, the Frosty level, the Elfin Magic, and the Abominable Snow Monster, which is the biggie. But we have $100, $250, $500, $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, and up from there. It's affordable. And it's a community warm thing. We're not here to make money. We're here to provide service to the community, spread the Christmas joy.
Jay, I'm not looking for you to make money, but I want you to raise money for this new Agriplex.
Well, if we can make black numbers in this would be good. My board would approve that.
Yes.
And so I can't be in the red. But yes, funds raised from this, they want to make donations above and beyond their $5 entry. Yes, please, because it will go towards the Agriplex project.
So this is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to have a lot of Christmas trees that are decorated. So will there be snow? Will there be an ice skating rink?
Again,
Let's
because
throw things
our
out there.
fairgrounds is so small, there's no room for ice skating rink. And the fact that all of our buildings are being occupied by the United Way Toys for Tots drive at the same
Okay.
time.
Okay.
So and that's why we need an Agriplex, so we can make it ginormous.
So I have Tony Stevens. He is one of the founders of Foghat joining in here, and
Hey, cool.
he has a really good question. He says, any live music? I know of a group that could help.
Yes. Does he remember Francesco Giovanni?
You'll have
That's
to.
what he texted me that. He
All
played.
right.
He played in our praise team.
Really?
At Palm City Praise team that I played drums with, and
Okay.
he claimed that he was in the original setup for Foghat, but the music was too R&B for him, so he quit.
Really?
I'd
Oh,
love
Tony.
to confirm that story.
Yeah, Tony.
But yes, our entertainment lineup is intended to be our church bell choirs, high school choirs, Opus, the school jazz bands doing their Christmas programs. Like, come on out, enjoy some music. and
Absolutely.
Have something to eat. Come have dinner.
Absolutely.
It's 5:30 to 9, so we're not keeping the kids up late. And
No, you're not at all. Well, I'll tell you what, if you're looking for some good rock, we'll have to hook you up with Tony. I know he's going to be in the States, and he's going to be out and about touring around here in
if
Florida.
he's around here in February,
at the Fair
we could use another
group.
good act for the fair.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right, Tony. So, and if you can answer that question, what was the name again?
Francesco Giovanni.
Giovanni. I have to ask Tony. He's going to be in the States
He's
here
a
pretty
shredder,
soon.
great
so.
guitar player.
Really?
When you hear people give out stories like that, you wonder.
Oh yeah.
Is that true? Maybe it is. I don't know.
Well, it is. It is so much fun listening to these artists and talking with them, and you do wonder sometimes the stories that they can share from being on the road. So, Jay, is the fair going to be in city this year?
Fair will be in the same location once again. My apologies. But we'll be just as big as ever. Last year, because of COVID, we tried to scale down some of the exhibits to keep space, flowing and proper. But this year, we're going full out,
Great.
normal. And it's up to people to feel they're made to make safe. We'll have the usual protocols from COVID from last time. So if that's what they want to have, wear your mask, don't wear your mask.
That's right.
We'll have sanitizers and things about spacing and, careful with the animals.
Of course.
And livestock is a whole nother issue because there's all kind of things that can happen with animals.
Word on the street is hopefully COVID's going to be waning around January timeframe. So by February, let's hope it's
We should be
in our rear view mirror.
Yes.
And Tony Stevens says, I don't know Francesco. So many people say they've played in Foghat, so he just doesn't know him. And David Hafner said there will be rides at the Carnival of Lights. So
Yes.
you mentioned that. So it's going to be a lot of fun for the whole family. And geez, we're out of time. Jay Spicer, Martin County Fair, please help us build this fair out in Indiantown. The Agriplex. It's so awesome. So
right.
contact Jay and let's raise some money. We can do this, Martin County. Let's do it. So
Thanks.
I'll see you next week.
Listening to WSTU, Stewart, Jensen Beach, Hope Sound.